So, what happens when a hero who's famous for his mind goes up against a monster of just pure, raw strength? Well, today we're jumping right into one of the greatest showdowns in all of literature, Odysseus versus the Cyclops. It really is the ultimate tale of brains versus brute force.
Okay, let's set the scene. Odysseus and his men, they land on this bizarre island, and it's home to a creature so massive that Homer doesn't even describe him as a man. He calls him a shaggy mountain reared in solitude. I mean, think about that. This isn't just a monster. It's a living, breathing part of the landscape, and they've just wandered right into its territory. And the island itself is the first real danger. See, the cyclopids, they live by a completely different set of rules. Or actually, no rules at all. It's this total disregard for what we'd call civilization that makes them so incredibly unpredictable and, well, terrifying.
Think about the world Odysseus knows. It's all about community, order, sacred laws. The Cyclops' world? Yeah, it's the absolute opposite. It's raw, it's individualistic, it's all about power. So this isn't just a man meeting a monster. It's a collision of two completely different ways of life.
You know, his crew actually begged him to just grab the cheese and the livestock they found and get out of there. But Odysseus, his curiosity and, let's be honest, his pride made him stay. He just had to see the caveman, what he had to offer. And boy, was that a catastrophic decision. So as the Cyclops, this guy named Polyphemus, comes back from grazing his flock, Odysseus's curiosity is about to be answered in the most horrifying way you can possibly imagine. The first thing the giant does is seal the cave with a rock so massive the text says 24 wagons couldn't have budged it. The exit is gone, period. And then, in the flickering firelight, that single giant eye finally lands on his uninvited guests. Odysseus tries to appeal to the rules of hospitality, which, for the Greeks, was a sacred custom protected by Zeus himself. And the Cyclops, he just scoffs at it. He makes his own rules, and those rules are backed up by his own incredible strength. And then the horror just becomes brutally real. This isn't some fairy tale. This is a survival story. The men are completely powerless, and the violence is just so swift and so shocking as they're forced to watch their friends being devoured. As Odysseus, the warrior, instinctively reaches for his sword, he has this chilling realization. If he kills the Cyclops while he sleeps, they're all dead anyway. They'd be trapped in that cave forever, with no way to move that gigantic stone. So he's pinned down, he's powerless. Brute force is off the table. Odysseus has to abandon his sword and pick up his greatest weapon, his mind. And he starts putting together this brilliant multi-step plan. This is just tactical genius. Step 1, use wine to cloud the giant's mind. Step 2, a fake name to create confusion later. Step 3, improvise a weapon. And finally, step 4, strike. Each step just builds perfectly on the last. It's not just a physical attack, it's a psychological trap. So Polyphemus, he just guzzles 3 huge bowls of this super strong, unmixed wine, something no civilized Greek would ever do. And in his drunken state, he asks Odysseus for his name, promising him a special gift in return. The cruelty of that gift is just, wow. He's gonna eat him last. But just as the giant passes out, Odysseus and his men, they grab their chance. They take that red-hot stake from the fire and drive it right into his single, massive eye. The blinded monster just howls in agony. His brothers, the other Cyclopes, hear his screams and they gather outside the sealed cave shouting, asking who's hurting him. And here it is, the genius of the plan pays off. When they hear him screaming that nobody is tricking him, they just assume it must be a curse from the gods and walk away. They leave him all alone. That simple bit of wordplay literally saves their lives. But, you know, blinding the giant was only half the problem. They were still trapped inside the cave, and now their jailer was awake, furious, and blocking the only way out. So the plan has to shift again. It's not about aggression anymore. It's about pure stealth. Odysseus uses the monster's own flock of sheep as camouflage. It's such a clever way to hide in plain sight, as the Cyclops lets the animals out to graze, feeling their backs as they pass. And this leads to an unbelievably tense moment. The Cyclops is actually stroking the very ram that Odysseus is hiding under, talking to it, wondering why it's so sad. He is inches away from his enemy and has absolutely no idea. Okay, so they make it out, they're back on their ship, the crew is just ecstatic. They have survived the impossible. But for Odysseus, in a moment of pure ego, just getting away isn't enough. His brilliant victory can't be anonymous. His men are begging him, just be quiet, let's go. But he can't help himself. He has to taunt the giant one last time. He needs the monster, and really the whole world, to know exactly who it was that beat him. And this is the moment where everything changes. The name Nobody, that was the identity of a clever survivor. That name guaranteed his escape. But revealing his real name, Odysseus, well, that was all about pride. And that pride came with a terrible, terrible price. Now that he has a name to curse, Polyphemus prays to his father, the sea god Poseidon. And this curse, brought on entirely by Odysseus's own ego, it basically becomes the blueprint for the next 10 years of his tragic journey home. Every single part of this prayer comes true. In the end, Odysseus's brilliant plan saved his life and the lives of his men. But his pride made sure that his legend would be one filled with pain and loss. And it just leaves us with this question. What is the true cost of glory? A name can make you immortal, sure, but it can also be your complete undoing.